Hi everyone and welcome to another video with Exploring with S&H. Today we're at Nithbank Hospital in Dumfries. Now historically this is known as the Dumfries and Galloway Royal Infirmary. It's a 19th century site that served as the region's main hospital. After the new Dumfries and Galloway Royal Infirmary opened in 1974 to 1975, this site was redesignated as a geriatric hospital and administrative centre, now called Nithbank as we know it. So the original infirmary was established at Mill Hall in 1776 and it moved to High Dock in 1778 and it functioned as the Dumfries and Gallows Royal Infirmary from 1807. Like we said before, it's a 19th century site and the Nithbank itself is historically recognised as a 19th century hospital building. In the 1970s the old infirmary was repurposed and now, as you can see, it's a sad state. There are windows out, there was a smell of gas, there's actually a flood in the main building which has been going for a couple of months, so it's horrifically damp. There wasn't any way in because one of the ceilings had actually fell in and we couldn't get into the main room where we wanted to explore. There's bound to be another entry point made sooner or later, but we will be back. We did explore other areas of the hospital, but for now let's give you a little bit more history. So Nithbank continued to be used to provide service for elderly patients and also as offices for the NHS staff. Despite threats of earlier closure, it continued for several more decades before finally closing in 2018 when the services were transferred to the new site. Following this, the site was sold off piecemeal in lots, with some of the ancillary buildings being converted for residential use. Some modern sections were demolished. The main building, which you're seeing now, was left derelict. And about 3 years ago, it started to get absolutely trounced on by various, what they call urban explorers. But a lot of us, we are urban explorers. We don't trash. We only leave footsteps. There was lots of vandalism and theft. And then the building got hammered by the young team, culminating in several fires. So there's been lots of fires in the area. And it's such a shame. And one was of April in 2025. Since then, there's been some efforts to protect the building. However, it still lies very much decaying. In the case, it could potentially get burnt down. And once a building is burnt down, it gets delisted. So we found this part quite funny. Another explorer told us that this was a sexual health clinic. Obviously, we do get in this building, which we will be showing you a little bit later on. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more history. So it was built in High Dock on a land that bordered with the river. The foundation stone for Nithbank was laid on the 11th of July 1777 and the infirmary received its first patients in 1778. These were transferred from temporary premises. In 1807 the infirmary was granted a royal charter and its benefactors incorporated as the governors of the Dumfries and Galloway Royal Infirmary. In the late 1860s, the infirmary's governors decided to relocate eastwards to higher ground and build a new hospital on a pavilion plan. This was the gold standard in hospital design at the time, based on the principles of natural cross-ventilation and minimise cross-infection. The governors held a competition for the design of the new hospital in 1868. A sum of £10,000 was proposed for the scheme that was to include the architect's fee and the salary of a clerk of works. The winning architect was John Starfoot, whose practice was based in Edinburgh. 3 years earlier, Starfoot had won the competition to design Greyfriars Church in Dumfries. He also went on to design the infirmary of Berwick-upon-Tweed, built in 1872-4, and Greenock's Poorhouse and Parochial Asylum, later Ravenscraig Hospital, built in 1876 to 1879. Beautiful, beautiful building. Man, I hate it when these buildings just get wrecked. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? So I've just found some outbuildings. It's walking sticks. If you take pictures, I'll just do the video. But we've walked past the main building. We were going to go in, guys, but there's a massive gas leak. You can smell it and you can actually hear it, so we're not going to hang around, which is a shame because I've always wanted to get into Nithbank Hospital. Just empty rooms. Mickey. Nothing to see in here. There's not really a lot to see in here, is there? Just toilets. It's the hospital I wanted to get into more than anything. We might have a peek through the door, but you can just smell the gas, so we're not. Yeah.